What's up, everybody? It's me, Greg Miller from IGN, and guess what? That Dead Island Riptide, I just reviewed it over on IGN.com. Go read it to get the score. But I put up on the interwebs there, on the Twitter, @GameOverGreggy, what did you guys want to know about the game? You know, the review, it's this top-level view of the game, but I'll get nitty-gritty if you guys want. I'll get down to the dirt, wrestle around with you a little bit. So here we go. Tweeted at me, the Zooniverse, he tweets and says, should I go back to the original and level up my character, or just restart from scratch? Save corrupted. What he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is in Riptide, you can import your Dead Island 1 character, right? So you can start basically from wherever you left off there in terms of level and skill trees. Your weapons don't come over either. There's an IGN wiki right now. We'll put up the address that you can go to learn all about this. Personally, for my main playthrough on Dead Island, when I reviewed that game, I played on 360. For my main playthrough on Dead Island Riptide, I played through on PS3. So I didn't import my character from my main save, but one of our wikis guys did here. I didn't miss it. When you start a new game of Dead Island Riptide, you start at level 15, so because your character, you know, in storyline logic, has already fought some zombies, would have already leveled up. You get to assign those skills out right there. But if you wanted a big jump, you wanted to have your skill tree totally maxed out, I guess it's worth going back and replaying Dead Island 1 if you really wanted to, but I feel like it might burn you out coming into Riptide. So I'm gonna say no. The Zooniverse, don't go back, jump right into Riptide, you're gonna have a great time. Dean147 says, are there any new vehicles in the game? The same truck over and over again in the first game got repetitive. Not really, Dean. This time around they add boats. There's a lot of water going on, so you can jump in the boats and you can go and you can do this like zombie speed burst. You speed burst with the little thing, you run over the zombies and kill them. But every boat feels the same. Every car pretty much feels the same. I think there's like Jeep. I don't remember. I guess I do remember trucks. There's trucks and Jeeps, but all the vehicles pretty much feel the same. Vehicles didn't seem like they were that big of a part, though, for me. I could have gone for more fast travel stations. Not a lot of fast travel stations, so a lot of running around, but whatever. You know, look, clearly I hate running. Cam_McCulloch, he says, how actiony is it? And in comparison, how scary is it? Does it have a more horror or actiony feel to it? Definitely more actiony feel. This is something, I went back and watched my original Dead Island video review when I was getting ready to review Dead Island Riptide, and in the original Dead Island review I talk about how it's, you know, that you'd be running and you hear these screams behind you and it'd be really scary and you look around. I never got that in Riptide. From the very get-go in Riptide, maybe because it's old hat at this point, maybe because the sound's different, the sounds weren't that creepy, the zombies in general weren't that scary anymore, but I guess it's because, just like the survivors in the game, right, we've gone through this before. At no point did it feel very horror-y, it always felt very actiony. We're gonna run around, we're gonna cut off limbs, we're gonna kick you with a super kick through the middle of nowhere. John the Renegade, he tweets, does this feel like a sequel or just an add-on? Is it as addictive as the original? This is a good question, right? Personally, I was very confused when they announced Dead Island Riptide because it sounded like it was going to be more of an add-on, right? They talked about it and it kind of sounded like the same game. Then they said they're going to sell it for $50 here in the United States. Games usually are, you know, 60 bucks. You figure, okay, there's some kind of drop in quality there. It's somewhere in between. It definitely feels like Dead Island. You're on an island and there's sun-splotched beaches and you're running around killing walkers. They look the same. They've added a few new zombies, but it does feel like more Dead Island 1, but in the same breath it does feel like a sequel. It's a standalone game. It's more of a world. You're not in the same world, but you are still digging through bags. You are still doing, you know, going to the weapon modification tables and making swords and doing all these things. It's very much Dead Island. I say in the review, right, that I feel like you could have just pasted the Dead Island 1 review into this review and had pretty much the same experience, but it feels sequel-y, I guess. I guess it's just because Dead Island #1, right, never felt like it was this, like, oh my god, what a narrative and what's happening here. I can't wait to see what happens to my character. Dead Island 1 was, I want to run around and get XP and I want to level up my character and get cool skills. That's what I love about Riptide. That's why I'm still playing Riptide. It feels like a new game, but it's definitely not a new invention of the franchise. Final question here comes Rashidi Kong. Rashidi Kong says, is Sam B's Who Do You Voodoo track featured in the game? Of course, Sam B's track, Who Do You Voodoo Bitch, is featured in the game. It's one of the best songs ever created. You spend all that money making it, you're gonna put it in every game you ever do about Dead Island. Jeez, come on. So ladies and gentlemen, for everything about Dead Island Riptide, including what I thought of it, what worked, what didn't work, including the wiki we are currently crafting that will show you where every collectible in the game is, keep it on IGN.
I got a zombie army and you can't harm me.